my key to becoming better within myself of my health was decluttering.
Integrated medicine, I'm still curious about that. I really want to know about it. How did you get into it? Like, when did you start this?
You know how you give your business cards? I actually felt like a hooker just giving business cards. So you've got cancer. Why do we all go and immediately we think death?
Today we have Irina Sharma with us, guys. She is an entrepreneur. She is a integrative medicine expert. She used to have her own restaurant. She was the first RJ in the first radio station in Dubai, 92 Dubai FM, it used to be called. And she was the first woman RJ over there. So that's who we have today, guys. Woo!
Thank you.
So we know all of these sort of things about you, in and around you, but the one thing we don't know, Raunak, is...
Integrated medicine.
No. What's the first thing before that?
What?
We need to figure out, Irina, what's your vibe?
Oh, yeah. What's your vibe?
Don't skip.
I'm so stuck to what is the medicine.
You want to go straight
I
to
want to know that thing really badly. That's a song.
What's
What's the vibe?
Okay, so this needs a little explanation. You know the Energizer Bunny?
Yes.
So think of the turbo version of the Energizer Bunny and mix it, or that turbo version had sex with Tigger on speed. Okay? And so my vibe is elevated.
Whoa.
That's what I would say. Just elevated. I'm floating. Yeah. So what's the vibe with you guys?
What's your vibe?
What's your vibe
today, Raunak? What's
So,
your vibe?
today we were live streaming, so I was just chill. I was in a chill vibe. Now that you have come here and elevated the vibe, now I want to get elevated. That's it. Now we're going to get elevated over here.
And what about you, Raunak?
We're going to match this elevation, man. I want to reach there where you are right now.
Right? Just you can imagine and you're there. That's it.
Wow.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Imagination is the best knowledge. I always say that. And we can reach anywhere we want. We just imagine. That's it.
Yeah.
Is that the same as manifestation?
So manifestation for me has intention. So we can't just say, I want $1 billion, and manifest it. It's the intention. And I think this is where maybe a lot of people who are trying to practice, I get distracted too, because suddenly it's for the wrong reason. Really can't, because it's all about reaching that vibe, that frequency, right? So how do we elevate ourselves to the frequency and connect? So let me give you an example on that connection. The minute I spoke to you, it was a connect. The minute I heard something about your podcast, I contacted you, right?
Yes.
Said, hey guys, I want to be on the podcast. No, that's the truth. And I don't shy out of saying that, and so there's always this connect of frequency with some people. It's like when you walk into a house, you say there's a good feeling and then there's not a good feeling, or a meeting, right?
It's in the air, like.
Absolutely. Yeah. So manifestation is where I believe you can reach that with the right intentions. So because what I believe the universe listens or connects is the intention, not just us selling those messages out or speaking out loud, So I can look into the mirror and make myself feel good by saying, I am healthy, and connect with my eyes. It will connect inside and make me feel good. However, if I say I am beautiful and I'm this with the wrong intention, it doesn't work because it doesn't feed my ego.
Interesting.
So imagination is you could just be anywhere, anytime. And I read that with Einstein, I remember, imagination is the best knowledge. And then I had a t-shirt, because if we look at kids, that's why they're just because they're always in their imaginary world. When we were kids, right?
That's when you're at your most creative, right?
Absolutely.
When your mind is not like filtered with the real world, it's just like let free.
There's zero hesitation.
Yeah.
Even when we get hurt, we just dive into things as kids, right? There's no hesitation.
Also, we're not afraid to try when we're children, because you're still discovering what's right and what's wrong by yourself.
Yeah. And they're curious. I think being curious, I always say, is invaluable. And just imagine not being curious.
Can't do that.
I'm always
right?
I don't want to empathize with that.
You can't even imagine
I don't want to
right?
empathize with that.
I'm still very curious about the
Shoot.
Integrated
Integrated
medicine.
medicine. I'm still curious about that. I really want to know about it.
So it's an integrative approach when you integrate things. We all have been hearing conventional medicine or allopathic medicine. And then we hear this thing called alternative medicine. But for me, it's not alternative, it's complementary. It complements your body. It complements it because it understands, because it's nature-based. So who are we? We are nature. We are the soil. We are the virus and the bacteria and the fungus and the mold, right? So that's why we connect so quickly. Here's an example. You go into nature or you just see a tree or a plant, immediately there's this sense of calmness, right? How does that happen? Because that's our relative, call it. That's my first cousin. So I immediately relate to it. And integrative is the same thing. There are those people who believe in conventional medicine and those only in complementary. But the idea is you can integrate both. The choice is yours. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong. And I just wish and hope we all can think in that direction of not judging anything. It's a personal choice. And that's a gift we have. So now, example, a cold, you want to take antibiotics or Panadol or whatever those Tylenols, whatever those brands are, or you want to take the ginger and the lemon and rest and all, or you can take both. So if you have taken, in my opinion, this is, of course, it comes with a disclaimer, this is my thoughts.
That's what I said, in my opinion.
Is, all right, you take antibiotics. We are quite aware what antibiotics does to our immunity, right? Yeah. At the same time, what is it that you can take that will boost it at the same time? So that integration is integrative medicine. And there's more and more growth towards that medicine because there's more and more conventional doctors who are getting curious. So when you look at functional medicine doctors, they're actually also GPs who were family practitioners. And then they also went into my voodoo world and studied that and combined it. So that's integrative medicine. Wow. But then there's a bigger picture.
But how did you get into it? Like, when did you start this?
Good question. Wow. I think I shared this with Raghav over our conversation was, I was around 6 or 7, family gatherings all the time. Yeah. And everyone has a different definition of what their meaning of health is. So we look at a dictionary, there's that definition, right? That one definition. And then everyone has their own disciplines in health. So I understood that, there's many modalities out there, right? However, I did not understand that you have a little packed thing called medicine. Yeah. Which luckily we didn't see at home much, In fact, I don't remember seeing pills in the house. And then you go out and you just feel good because you breathe air or you breathe well, right? So I said there has to be more to it. And then luckily again, curiosity continues. I was in sports. That always made me conscious of eating well, being well, sleeping well, without me having to get lectures from a coach or because I wanted to perform well, right? Yeah. So to do so, you've got to be well. Forget about being healthy, right? And so that expanded it. Then I got into broadcasting. I met such great people, such as yourselves, asking the right questions, really stalking their minds as much as I could. And that expanded more. So I knew there was more and more and more to the marketing gimmicks we see of the pharmaceutical companies, you know? Yeah. And that's where it took me in direction. And then culturally, I'm Indian. The kitchen is where all the medicine is, right? Yeah. Haldi lo, this, that, whatever, and all that stuff. Haldi is like, oh my God, it's everything. And that's what, look at it now, medicine, talking about kurkuma. What is that, right?
What is Betadine? Like there was a Betadine spray.
Betadine?
Yeah.
This is during COVID. A lot of people were gargling with this, right?
Yeah. So it was just like a spray. And then when you spray and then as an Indian, when you look at it, you go like, that's healthy. That's what my mom gives me in the morning with milk.
That's the thing, yeah. So however times have changed because the quality of things have changed. So yeah, haldi is not haldi. It's not the same. Now we want to put that organic into it because we are aware of the pesticides, right, out there. So I think we also have become more and more aware, and that kind of expands your mind and wanting to know more. So how can I, on a daily basis, live better?
True.
Yes.
And the body, mind, soul alignment, so I think this is what, so for me, I think my key to becoming better within myself of my health was decluttering.
Yeah.
So, we always read when the space is clean, we feel calm, right? But the inside, how do I declutter that? And that's what I realized. It's still going on for 20 years. I'm still decluttering. Can you imagine the amount that has been stored inside through various things?
All different experiences.
Different
every day, every time, like you're just
Yeah.
absorbing things, right? Like
I think one is absorbing and one is the pressure we put on ourselves that we have to do this. But why do I have to? But then that's a part of growth. Then that's a part of your career starting. So there was just so much that one doesn't understand, but you just keep going.
it's called a cluster.
It is called a cluster.
It's
Yeah,
called, like,
yeah. So
cluster.
that cluster is exactly okay. So how it started was this. So I opened my business, my agency, PR event, and all that stuff around in 2003. And I thought, I don't come from a business family, right? I thought business means networking. But for almost a few months, I was networking in places. Number one, I was in places at 10 o'clock in the night, and I so don't want to be there, right?
That's
So
like
I was,
half an hour past your bedtime.
exactly. So I was totally on another. I was going
Tangent.
against my rhythm, and life rhythm is something I would love to talk about later. So I was at one of the networking places, and you know how you give your business cards? I actually felt like a hooker just giving business cards because what I was saying and what they were saying didn't make sense. And what I didn't understand is those normal questions. Where are you from?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Small talk, right?
Small talk.
And I'm like, this is not what I'm here for, right?
Yeah.
So when I was driving back home, I just was crying. I was howling, and I don't cry easily, Now I do actually, but I never used to. And I realized this is not me. This is not why I opened the business. Because if the fun element is gone in anything and everything I do, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Feels like
Feels
work, like hard
If it feels,
work, then, right?
I want to be that businesswoman. I want to learn. I want to know how it feels like to be an entrepreneur. I started with around 3,200 dirhams in my pocket. People who believed in me joined me saying, we don't want a salary till you can afford it. I had no furniture. We were sitting on a mat. And then I got these desks and all that. And then I used to tell my sister, who used to live in Virginia that time, to call me at odd hours, just so then, and I would text her, call me when people are walking in the office so they think we're busy.
Okay.
oh, wow. Yeah.
So there was all these things of putting, so then I started, it was this that got me the business. I wanted people to meet me and the team and meet them. Not be surrounded in a group of 100 people where everyone are like sharks, including myself, and I don't know what I'm focused on. What am I there for?
Yeah.
What am I there for? So I think that cluster that I created, and then you have your personal relationships, which all that stuff, and why did that happen? All that ego, anger, confusion, curiosity, the have to, because this is the way you've been told, right?
Yeah.
Something that we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
So it didn't make sense. So then it was, all right, now breathe and start decluttering. So then it became clearer to me. There was space.
You can't move forward till you don't clear it out because you're just consumed by what you already have, right?
And I was stuck in a space, which happens over and over again, but better now. My brother-in-law taught me one thing. I remember I told him, I feel I made this mistake and I feel like a sinner. He goes, no, you should feel like a sinner when you repeat that mistake.
Nice.
You're
Sweet.
stupid when you repeat it.
Yeah.
And that kind of made sense.
Yeah, because mistakes are always made.
Mistakes are made
Like
to
it's
learn.
not a mistake till you find out that it was a mistake.
And you learn, right?
Yeah.
Exactly,
You're
yeah.
saying, I've done something wrong. or I've done something right, you know, and you
Yeah.
learn, and then it's up to you what you want to continue.
Fair. True.
So, you know, I think this is the whole thing. So I'm still decluttering.
How are you?
No, I'm still decluttering because there's a lot of things from the environment that come my way, right? It could be the air that we breathe, which is right now we go out, humidity, right?
I don't feel any air out
Yeah,
there.
and no matter where we're traveling these days, right? The climate change, our hormones.
Yeah, I was seeing that reel that you put out, like spring cleaning and spring hormones, how they change.
Yeah, they change. So I learned this from a beautiful Ayurveda doctor I met. And she made me realize that two things, which were great, that every season, our hormones, our entire body changes with the season,
I
right?
really did not know that.
So I kind of walked away from that knowledge, maybe, or I didn't think about it again, was we live in a place where we have winter and summer.
Yeah.
We come from countries which have 4 seasons, right? And that's the natural rhythm of our body. However, we're away. And the second thing she taught me is good that every season when you change, you feel unwell, be it a cold,
Yeah.
because that's your immunity working at its best.
It's just adjusting to the changes, right?
But what do we always say? Oh, I'm great because I never fall sick. I never get a
No,
cold.
I fall sick every time, like the weather changes, I fall sick.
And it's great. And that's our body healing on its own.
So,
right?
so in my house, we see someone falling sick as a sign that winter's coming.
Winter's coming, or
fuck,
summer's
it's summer
coming.
again.
It's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, like
it's
you can
so
just tell
beautiful.
just
Yeah.
naturally, like without even seeing a weather forecast, for example, and you just know that the weather is changing. You can feel it around you, like
Yeah, you can feel the heat and you become sick.
yeah. I don't need someone to come and tell me that the weather is changing. I've already felt it in a different way.
But you see, you always hear people say, right? Oh, I never fall sick. So
Yeah.
my immunity is
Yeah.
great. If you only knew. No, it's okay to have a cold. What is fever? If I ask, a fever is your body detoxing. Now, if we suppress it by taking a medication immediately, I'm not saying the fever that makes you hallucinate. No, fine. That's rush to the emergency. Fine. Okay, we love the hallucination, but hey, But and my mom used to say that when I used to get that fever, I used to start singing Hindi songs. I don't know when, okay? I started singing Hindi songs. And so mom knows her fever is high. Like, we got to take her, and get something done or do the cold packs
Cold
or
pack,
something
yeah.
like this. But what do people do with fever now? Immediately suppress it,
True.
Yeah.
right? I understand you got to go to work. You can't get a day off. I get it. So can you imagine all those pressures? That's the decluttering, constantly, always. When I was on the radio, I couldn't call in sick and say, hey, I can't be live next day morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to show up no matter what.
You got to show up,
no
and
matter
you got
what.
to show up on time. You're live,
Yeah,
right?
true.
That's true.
So there was a lot of sometimes pressure because sometimes your body doesn't want to do it. It's like today in one of the stories I said, right?
Yeah.
You want to rest. I know it's not easy. I know.
True.
Because unfortunately, a lot of us out there,
I feel like a lot of us are not listening to our bodies.
because we're just surviving, we're not
Yeah.
living.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like that.
We're on a survival thing. We got to survive. We got to pay the bills. We got
That's
to.
Dubai, like-
I get that. But then, hey, that's the decluttering. Ask yourself, does it matter? Does me being here matter? Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But how many times in a day we do things that don't matter or say things that don't matter? I think this
It's
is
just
where.
not being conscious at all
Yeah.
times, right?
And you know what? We are very aware of things, however we shoot it off. And that is where we're also suppressing our intuitive,
Yeah.
our powers, I would say.
Yeah. So
You
that
know?
happens with me a lot. Like when there's a lot of work, like it's very easy for me to, just not
Yeah.
see it,
Yeah.
you know. But what I realize is that when I do that, and then later when it comes to the last stages of now I can't unsee it, it sort of like hinders the quality of my work as well. But so what I try to do now is like, even if there's tons of work which I don't want to do or I don't feel like doing, I will still consider it in my mindset. So I let my intuition make my decisions for me at that time, and it just becomes much easier. It's just the thought of doing those tasks is a lot more difficult than actually getting through with it. You know what I mean?
Or if you hear someone say something to you, earlier I'd get a bit irritated or I'd be driving back and say, but why would that person? It doesn't matter. It's my mantra, f*** it mantra,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, f*** it. It doesn't matter, because no matter what I say, what I try and analyze, it's like someone trying to find out, and this is again very personal to me, is it doesn't matter why I got cancer. So you're diagnosed, focus, move forward. But if I keep going into the depth of why did I, but my lifestyle is so great, but I did this, I did that.
How do you react when you heard it first?
Yeah, we actually halfway there. So I wanted to focus a bit on that.
Sorry, I jumped on cancer. It was just an example.
No, that's
about
what
it.
I was anyway going to get into regardless. Because it's such an inspirational story that if I don't ask you to speak about it, I am taking away a lot from everyone else watching this.
So I want to know about this.
I wouldn't leave without speaking about it.
Please do speak about it so we get a lot more time to speak about it.
Sure.
Because we have a few questions that we would like to go back and forth.
Sorry, may I put my shoes up? Okay, it's like show off my Snoopies. I have Snoopy socks.
Snoopy has all the secrets
Snoopy's
apparently.
with me all the way, Cancer. The big C, right?
Yeah.
Right now, I wish I was getting menopause hot flashes, because boy, it's cold in the studio here. I never get hot flashes. I'm wishing for give me some hot flashes right now. So I never got hot flashes in my menopause, so that was a great thing.
Okay.
So that's why another thing I don't relate to sometimes is the hot flashes. I hear about it, I read about it, but I don't relate to it, never got it. That's another story, So cancer, I was diagnosed 9 years ago, but let's go back around 1994.
The year I was born.
The year you were born. Estee Lauder, I used to work with them. They're pioneers in breast cancer campaigns worldwide. So I said, we're not doing here. Why don't we start it? I mean, no one's talking about breast cancer. The first couple of years, I couldn't even say breast cancer. I had to say cancer of the chest for women.
Why?
Wow.
Because breast was used as a very vulgar
slang, stigma. It's like a stigmatic
pornographic, that it wasn't. And you know what? That was everywhere around the world.
Was that in the US as well? I think you were in the US around
everywhere.
that time, right?
Everywhere you see the words breast, or if you say condom, right? HIV, AIDS. That was they're all taboo. It was a very cultural, and then breasts were always related to women. Women were very secretive because what will people think? Cancer, do you know why people didn't talk about cancer or certain things, especially in Asia and these parts? Because they used to say, if it's in the family, we're not going to get our child married in that family.
So that's something like diabetes. That's how they took it as.
Absolutely. So, they have it. Oh no, that's going to be, then your kids will get in the genes and all that. So if I go all over the place, tell me to focus, okay? Because this is a topic that can, we will be here all night, and I'm willing to lose my sleep on this one, So then when I start talking about breast cancer, slowly it started building up. The message was, do a mammogram, do this. It was, again, moving away from where I thought, hey, there has to be more. So if there's mammogram, there must be something more that is less painful, less radiation, less, right? So again, dig. So then I moved away from the Estee Lauder breast cancer campaign, and I started just working on learning myself what's out there. And that was a beautiful journey. However, my right breast, there was a little lump. And when I showed the lump, they said, let's remove it. Now in Ayurveda, I learned one thing is something that is unwanted, take it out. So surgery is fine, no problem. I have nothing against surgery. So I removed it, and when they came back to me and they told me that, it's a borderline cancer. Okay, that was fine. That was 2003, right?
Okay.
I just opened my company that time.
Yes.
My dad had just passed from cancer last year in 2002. So that's the first time anyone close to me, I heard the word cancer. Now there was cancer in the family, but no one ever talked about it, right? So 2003, this passed, I was busy doing my stuff. Then my left nipple, there was this little lumpish feeling. So I knew there was something bouncing on both the boobies, bounce here, bounce there and all that. In 2015, It was full blown. Now, how did I find my cancer is the big thing. I remember it was a Thursday, and that time Friday, Saturdays used to be a holiday.
Yeah.
We were on Beach Road. I was with my partner, and there was a sandstorm. And I was running, and that's the day I was diagnosed. So a few days before I was running, the Forrest Gump that I am, I suddenly got a chest pain, and I never get chest pain. So I kind of felt, and I said, And the minute I pressed it here, it was as if something bitter, toxic, bitter, metallic taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I got a taste.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay. I freak myself out sometimes, when you're so...
That's because you're so aware of your body,
aware.
Right? Yeah.
But it freaks you out sometimes. And I'm like, And then again, so I told my partner, honey, and I told him, honey, this is what he goes, listen, you voodoo thing, okay? You call the doctor, call Dr. Huria. And Huria was my spokesperson for the breast cancer campaign. She is by far the best breast surgeon on this planet. I love her. And because she's the happiest soul. She laughs. When she tells people you have cancer, she's like, by the way, you have cancer, but in a way, she's such a happy soul, And so I called her, and she was traveling. She goes, Irina, listen, I know you're going to say no to ultrasound, this and that. Just go do an ultrasound. So when they saw that it was little clusters, of roots, and I saw that, I knew it. I didn't need to go further into doing things and all that. And then on the day when I was running, I found out. I finished my run, and then I told my partner, by the way, I have cancer, breast cancer. Now, how did it hit me? The minute I heard cancer, I looked at the first 3 letters. Can.
You can. Yeah.
I can. So I can do whatever I want and fix it in whatever I choose to fix. So I said, here I go. I went straight to Austria to my doctor, and we sat there, and he said, so he's one of the only doctors on this planet who've always asked me, what do I want?
Nice.
I ask you guys, if you've ever been to doctors, have you ever heard?
No.
No, like you usually go to the doctor to find out what you have to do, right?
Because this is what I love about this doctor is because he knows I know my body better than him. So he will work with me. I will not work with him, as arrogant as that sounds. And he's aware, and this is how he always speaks to his patients. So I told him, I said, I don't want chemo, I don't want radiation, I don't want tamoxifen. And if I cannot have the surgery, I don't want the surgery. So he said, all right, let's make it happen. I said, give me a tree, a bark of a tree, I'll chew it. But hey, I don't want it. They have a cream there that is used in many places. If you apply the cream, the tumor comes in your hand.
Whoa.
Whoa, right?
Whoa.
And guess what?
Yes.
It's Indian.
Whoa.
Whoa. High five to that, guys. Right?
Actually, to be honest, I can totally imagine Ayurvedic
and
stuff.
And it's the Austrians using the Indian. So it's not Ayurvedic.
Wow.
So it's on the naturopathy side. However, in Ayurveda, everything, I do believe. Come on, 2,000, 3,000-year-old medicine. What do you think?
Yeah,
now that's pure knowledge.
That's pinnacle of medicine, right?
TCM, Chinese medicine, that's medicine, right? So we tried it, but it didn't work because my tumor was deep. So I was okay to do a surgery. And I did everything to boost immunity. So what I was working on was not the cancer, was my immunity. Because if my immunity is up there, everything else will get fixed automatically. The self-healing process will start. Because what happened? I was off rhythm. What is cancer? It's when your body goes off rhythm. When
exactly. Like this is something that we want to touch on.
It's your body going off rhythm. Now, rhythm doesn't mean, you hear these beats going off beat, right? The rhythm is when you are completely off the natural life rhythm. What is that? Circadian, right? Or you're up all night. You sleep in the morning, you're eating at odd hours, you're not with your nature's rhythm of how one should function. So eating at the same time every day, sleeping at the same time every day, movement all day, community, those natural rhythms were shaken, right? How long they were shaken, it didn't matter, but it was. And then my body was more acidic. So the alkaline acidity level was off because what is cancer? It's your body going on a very high acidic phase. So that doesn't mean those acidic, reflex, burping. No, not that. That is also a sign. And that doesn't mean that if everyone's on that acidic side, which we all are, we're all going to get cancer. No. However, inflammation is happening. So what is inflammation going to do? It's going to cause a lot of burden on all your organs. So what's that going to do? Your body's not functioning properly. Your body's struggling to function. So your liver may be strong, but it has to process through all the rest of the beautiful musical organs, my best friends who are my organs, and it's not reaching that full power that it should. That to me is cancer. Your immunity is busted. So that is where the cancer comes in. Why is there so much cancer out there? So I'm asking myself this question, and you guys are the first public platform, I'd probably say it, is cancer contagious?
I don't think so.
I think it is.
Why do you think? Tell me. And how?
According to me, okay, like this is just my
Yeah,
opinion.
this is fun, yeah.
All right, okay. Let me just throw my mind out to you.
Da-da-da-da! Yeah.
Okay, so in my opinion, like if you don't eat well, if you don't sleep well, things that you said, plus on top of that, if you are not able to keep yourself in a happy place, like if you're doing far too many things that your body is not in tune with, your mind is not in tune with, you're cultivating all of that bad energy. No energy is bad energy, but it's just not your energy that you're cultivating inside you. And I feel like in a holistic sense, that to me is somewhat how you do come across cancer. I could be wrong, but this is just one of the theories that I do have.
That's a great theory. And then
Because
you
if
spread it through your energy. I hear you.
Yeah, so that's the concept that I try to like keep in mind, to keep myself happy at all times. Not because I'm afraid of cancer, but I feel like it can be a byproduct of you being unhappy for an extended period of time. And yeah, those are my views on cancer.
What are your views?
I don't think it's contagious. That's what I believe it. I mean, I did not even now I'm thinking it's contagious because of the explanation that you're giving, but I always thought it's never contagious.
I think it's the environment, because if you are sharing the same environment with me, you're probably feeling similar things to me. If I'm feeling a certain thing, you will probably come across
I remember
it.
how one school got children got cancer because of the lead paint, and because of that they started getting cancers. I knew it's something because of the environment that you could people could get cancer together in a group, but I didn't know it would be something contagious. So I think people started thinking it's contagious is because they all got in the same room. I thought the first person who got it just infected everyone around them.
Plus, if I feel let's say Raunak gets cancer, the first thing I'm going to think is, fuck, even I'm going to get cancer, bro. He does the same thing I do, blah, 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 blah. Now suddenly I'm in the mindset.
You psych yourself into
I am sort of, in a way, manifesting it at the back of my head subconsciously, because I put myself in that mindset that it's possible for it to happen to me as well.
It's a wake-up call, I think.
So I'm loving this space that we're building right
now.
now.
Because it becomes like a wake-up call, if he finds out I have cancer, it'll be a wake-up call for him. He'll be like, oh shit, I should stop doing whatever wrong is.
This happened to my dad the other day. One of his cousins called him, maybe this is just 4 days ago, by the way. His cousin called him and he's like, my kidney is, both my kidneys are 80% consumed and failed, and my pee is frothing up, and that's a very bad sign for, I don't know the kidney failure basically. So my dad sort of super panicked, and he called my sister. She's a dentist, so she has some certain knowledge. So she told him, get a test done. Now in the test, my dad is super oh my god, I have it, I know I have it. Now, as per your age, whatever level is required, my dad was 0.1% up. So if it's even 0.1% up, it shows up as red on your report.
Yeah, that happened after COVID, right? It was red for no, yes and no.
So
for
my dad automatically now started believing that this is a big problem. He knows that suspicion confirmed. And then he tells my sister, it's too high. Because of his cousin saying that he's had it so high and he's just recommended it, just go get it done. My dad has believed it, that he's gotten it. But when we actually read the report, it's just 0.1 above. It's not a big deal.
So are you saying fear is what causes it, and we can probably catch it by having fear when we hear somebody else's story, and then we psych ourselves into it, and then we start living in it, and then we manifest it in
That's
a way.
one of the ways.
Second is you're saying we throw off so much energy that is it's
Like
it's
I'm just
always,
absorbing only bad,
yeah.
but not letting it out elsewhere. I'm just
Okay.
cultivating it in me.
So here's my thought process. So I was reading some stuff on STDs, these sexually transmitted diseases, and herpes being one of it, and its connection to ovarian cancer. Right. So say male member has it, gives it to the female, which is a contagious disease, and that has a strong chance of converting to ovarian cancer. So my contagious thing comes, so which virus is it that we sometimes get? Because it's the viruses and the bacteria and everything that goes crazy in our bodies that causes illness, correct?
Yeah.
Most of us, the kissing disease, Epstein-Barr, we have it, we don't know it, and it's dormant. And then fatigue kicked in and we're wondering, why is this happening and all? And it's not about kissing someone else. We've had somebody else's water that they've touched with their saliva.
Nice.
Yeah.
So on, so forth. So my thing is, hang on. Now this is what I'm digging in. And this is what I'm writing and trying to find out. And I drive my doctor, who's my professor, crazy with these things. So there's so many things he says, you're right. I said, now break it down.
Yeah.
So I'm asking myself, is cancer contagious? And that's why. And you guys have given me some great insight.
We didn't even know what you were going to say, but we gave you like something
No, I love
completely
that.
like off the book sort of a thing, right?
No, which is so true, because I had somebody ask me, do you believe, what do you believe happens after death? I said, I'll WhatsApp you when I die, and I'll let you know. Okay, it was as simple as that, because it was okay. Now this has nothing against any religion, anyone's own faith. Absolutely not. However, death for me is not where am I going to go after death, right? And we're coming back to cancer. The reason I'm trying to tell you about the energy is I said, listen, I believe it's not a soul, but if you want to call it its soul, it's a ball of energy that gets released. Now, unfortunately, we all are dying of so many illnesses and heavy feelings in our mind and all, that energy never reaches that level of frequency that it should actually reach and process a better universe. It's stuck. So we're in this gloomy energy of people who have died, okay, of a lot of gloominess, not only disease and all. And I'm not saying people like my father who died of cancer. That doesn't mean he's in a gloomy world. That is the heavy energy that we are stuck in. So to elevate literally from that frequency and be in the frequency that we should be to be well at all times is a tough challenge. So this is where it comes back to all these theories of cancer. What I don't understand is the fear aspect. So you've got cancer. Why do we all go and immediately we think death?
Yeah.
Yes, some people do die. I understand that. And then one has this debate. Yes, but yours was not as bad as this, and the grade and the phase and that's not the point. The word is cancer. So can we all concentrate on can?
Yeah.
You can, but decide what you want to do. If we make our decision, that's strength. That gives us the bravery. If somebody else is making our decision because we're gloomed in fear, that's a very difficult space to get out of. In anything, be it being bankrupt, be it, So really, what's the point of worrying? Because worrying is going to just bring that clusterfuck feeling thing again.
Yeah.
And my father used to say this, not clusterfuck, but...
He probably said if he was a Gen Z now.
No. Dad used to say, he just says, Beta, we were three girls, we were all known as Beta. He goes, Beta, come out. He goes, Beta, the solution lies there. He used to always tell me this. And I'm looking there, is this wild, wild west going out there. I'm like, okay, Dad, oh, but what are you smoking, right? And I understood what he was trying to say. First of all, go out, look at that beauty of nature and breathe. The minute you breathe, you're in a calm state of mind. You're surrounded. The solution is right there. But what's the first thing that happens when something happens in our lives? Panic. Oh, but I've got to then call.
Those are your reactions, right?
No.
Those are just like.
But we don't need to react that way.
Exactly.
Right? We don't.
But no one's been told that. That's what I feel like.
I think if you control
people,
your reaction timing, like reactions and all, like life would be
like
very
if I can
different
keep
for
my
people.
reaction inside me and process it and then speak, which never usually doesn't happen.
But there are
that
people
often,
around you who want you to react like faster as well. You know what I mean? It happens like that as well.
And then we say, oh, but it's normal to do that. Nothing's normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal for husband and wives to fight. It's not normal in relationships. I don't get those things. Yeah, but this happens, No, it doesn't. We make it happen. Why do I need to fight with my partner? I've been with him forever, okay? We don't argue. I can definitely swear upon or do, we never argued. We had a conversation.
Yeah.
And he's the type, he's like, I always describe him as, Irina with a penis, basically, So literally we're the same. We're the same. And there's a lot of humbleness that comes. Now, what if I told you that you will never ever go into that state of panic if you practice one thing which we are born to do but we don't do?
Wow, I will do it every day. Tell me, what is it?
Breathe.
That it is, I do.
No conscious breathing, bro.
Proper breathing. So when you say you breathe, we're all breathing.
Yeah.
But how do you breathe? How many times in a day do you ask yourself, am I breathing right? I'm not saying we all need to go in a yoga pose 24 hours and do alom vilom going around there. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
But we don't breathe.
So what is like the right breathing then?
From your nose. Many of us don't breathe from the nose. Many of us don't breathe slow.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a guy, James Nestor. His book, Just Breathe. Oh God, one day I am going to attend his retreat. In fact, James Nestor, the co-author, is coming to Maldives where I'm speaking at the Soul Festival in October.
Sweet.
So I'm speaking on 3 different topics over there.
Wow.
And he's going to be, so I am going to do a lot of learning there.
That is
but
crazy.
Breathing. So the thing that keeps us alive, we don't do. And so what's really getting to us is the minute that happens, what's the first thing we stop? Our breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that we go, right? Yeah. So, hey, how do you expect the oxygen?
Flow, right?
Yeah, the oxygen's not reaching the brain. There's this antsy feeling, a shake in the body because you've just held your breath where you shocked it. There's a rhythm. Just be in the rhythm. The whole day be in a rhythm. We need to remind ourselves that we need to breathe properly. We're all breathing, but not properly. Most people I know breathe from their mouth.
I breathe from my mouth, and then I was told to start breathing from your nose. Yeah. So I tried, and I failed miserably to try and do it for as long as I could. And then I was told, just add the word conscious breathing. Watch yourself breathe. And so my task right now, since the last 3 weeks, has been how many hours of the day can I reach with conscious breathing? And I can feel a different flow of oxygen going into my head. It's cold, it's refreshing, replenishing. So, and every time I just zone out, or if I get busy at work, and that's when I just, because I'm distracted from that breathing aspect, I'm not able to perform elsewhere. Because when I'm sitting and breathing, I have every thought is whoa, it's heavy and it's great.
And if we had done that ever since we were kids, right? If we had done that, then we didn't have to make ourselves aware on a daily basis. We would just be breathing. It would be a natural rhythm of breath work. Now, conscious breathing for me goes on to another level.
Yeah, it's too difficult. You need some mad patience for it.
So there is the conscious breathing, which is related with meditation. Okay. For me, conscious breathing is I want to be able to breathe the viruses that I'm supposed to breathe. And that comes from the environment, which we're missing a lot of those great things, right? So we have no control on what happens outside, unfortunately. Okay, there are many people fighting to clean the air and worldwide. However, we have control in where we stay, where we always are. So what can we do to build that, right? And my favorite thing is get a plant and feel the soil every day. Make sure the soil doesn't have Roundup, which is what it has these days, and make sure it doesn't have things like glyphosate, which is everywhere. But clean soil at home, rub your hands, smell it. You know that dunger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The manure?
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I miss it. And smell that and you will see your cells jumping with joy. But the real one. I mean, tell people to smell
within.
shit,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the real thing.
Fair.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, think about it.
Like till you don't experience it, you just feel like, people will just feel like you're just talking like, oh my God, you asked me to pick up shit and smell it. Like in truth, right? But it's when you actually do it that you actually realize the value of like, okay, cool,
Yeah.
that's proper nature, even if it's some shit, in
Yeah.
actuality. Like,
We were hiking in Nepal once, and one of the villages that we passed, the olden style, still in India and many other places, they make the homes with the cow dunger, the dried
all
up
over
and
the
all. Yeah,
huts.
I can't tell you. We sat in somebody's home to have tea, and they made. They always welcome crazy tourists like us. Who they just love. They get fascinated, going, "Why are they here? What do they like? Why do they come here?" And all I was doing was sitting in that home, breathing properly, normal, without thinking. And it was as if my system burst with joy. And I understood it was the ventilation, the insulation system, everything that they create from Mother Nature.
Yeah.
And if I ask you this question, again, the soil is disrupted now. We don't have good soil. So how do we expect to eat well?
true.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it relates.
Think about
Yeah.
it. So we're judging food all the time. This is superfood. This is good food. All food is great as long as we chew it. You don't chew it, you could have the best and it won't give you the nutrients. Right? So, I mean, everything is so interlinked to what? Mother Earth. Earth. Soil. So everyone's talking about grounding, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I will never do grounding.
Why? Like, Raghav was talking about it.
All the grass, everything is sprayed with pesticides.
Oh, okay.
But you just taking that soil and rubbing it is, in a sense.
No, so the soil I have at home in my plant, I have made sure the purity of the soil.
That's the one I'm
type-
talking
yeah.
about. That itself is ground.
That is
the
itself,
practice of
absolutely,
what you're doing
absolutely.
is
I
grounding.
can put it here.
Yeah.
I can sniff it, and I'm massaging the soil, and that's it. I'm smelling it with one plant. That's all. But that has now. Would it work on others if they want to, if they really want that? But you've got to reach that level to know yourself,
For
to
it to
be
feel
in
good.
yourself, to be yourself. Yesterday you guys were saying, so you're coming. I said, me, myself, and Irina are coming.
Yes.
The three of us are hanging out and having conversations with the organs all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
When do we lie down and just close our eyes and go inside our body and say, hey, you good? You good? You good? Hey, how are you doing?
Body scan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Body scan. Go to the liver and say, hey, get that crap out in the morning.
Squeeze it out, bro.
Yeah, because if I don't poop, I'm the moodiest biatch on the
Unsettled
planet.
as fuck.
It feels very unsettled if you don't do it in the
And this
morning.
is an Indian culture thing,
Yeah.
I think, because my friends don't understand that. They said, what is with you and crap? Poop, poop, poop. And
Because of the food that we eat.
I used to ask in school, did you go poop? Did you go poop?
Oh my God.
Because I could not understand how one would come to school if they haven't pooped. Because this was the rhythm, the cycle. So think about it. If you don't poop, and constipation is a huge problem with a lot of people now, for various reasons, if you don't poop, what is happening inside?
Collection.
Collection, yeah.
of disposed waste.
So
which has
how
not been
will you
disposed.
think well? How will you feel well? How will you
I think
function
your body
well?
feels very heavy when you're constipated and
You
like.
just not yourself. You just
I
like,
feel
you'd
your
rather
answer
be
feels
without
heavy.
it. You know what I mean?
I am moody.
Yeah.
Everything's blocked.
Yeah.
I
Same.
can't think.
Okay. I have a question, okay?
Go for
we
it.
have like only 5 minutes or like a few minutes left,
Okay.
give or take, okay? So
Okay.
like a quick round, okay? You're a huge advocate for men's health as well, right? Yeah, and you sort of gave us like a snippet yesterday saying that even men can get breast cancer.
Oh, I really
I
want
just
to know about
wanted you to tap into that a little bit, and I think we can always have you on. Like, I'm ready to have you on like very soon.
every time.
I would love to talk about complementary
Yeah.
medicine. I
Yeah.
know we didn't really dive into
Yeah.
it, but it was a great conversation. So men do get breast cancer, and the percentage is increasing. Obesity is one big problem. The imbalance of also hormones. However, the reason death rate is higher, even though it's a small percentage, is because the medical system hasn't regularized the men being checked
For breast
Yeah.
cancer.
for breast, or just breasts being checked, or making them aware that, hey, feel your breast, see if there's a lump. Because
Every
look,
guy's
Bring it
got to
out.
do that.
yeah, just
Feel a
feel
lump?
it.
Yeah, see
Just
it.
feel. You've got to, you know, and feel the lymph nodes. So there are ways and techniques. So when you're taking a shower, it's the best time. You know, you are bare.
Not during a
Not on a
podcast.
podcast, not on a podcast.
Not on a podcast.
We can feel ourselves as much as we want, but it's okay. So, you
Yeah.
know, but really get in there and feel it. But be aware that I'm not saying there's so many things out there that are freaking us out. That, oh my goodness, now we got to worry about this. But it's there. And I am a woman. If I don't know and I don't educate myself with all the guys that I love in my life, all the lovely people that I meet, such as yourselves, who I've fallen in love with, you know, how can I help then? So we've got to help each other. You guys get menopause, known as andropause.
Oh.
You guys get the same symptoms as women, less mood, but you're more snappy. And that's because your testosterones fall. Now, women can debate saying, yes, but it's less numbers, but it's there. Be aware that sometimes don't be hard on yourself that why am I having these sweats and all that? I'm talking
Yeah.
about a certain age, you know, why am I having this is, you know, and not knowing and panicking in that. That's a process of nature. Menopause is our normal. It's normal. Why are we making a big thing? So when I know that I'm going to get menopause, then be preventive way ahead. When I know I'm going to die, why am I freaking out? And I know death is something we want to talk about because I want to be a death doula.
Ooh, wow. My God, I'm intimidated as well.
So yeah, I mean, why would I fear death?
Fair. Wow.
And why don't we talk about it? And why aren't doctors more aware and trained about death?
That and a lot more questions on
Da,
our next
da, da.
episode with Irina Sharma. Thank you for watching. Okay, guys, that was a lot of fun. Cheers. That's What's the Vibe. That's Irina Sharma. Anything to say to the audience? How was your experience? Anything? Closing note? Something?
Just breathe.
On
right,
and off the podcast.
And guys, thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for
Like,
coming.
What a
and
conversation.
I would love to have you again soon.
Thank you.
Soon,
Thank
really
you.
soon.
We want to get
What
into
date?
more
What
things.
time? When should I be here?
We
One
should-
second, the time is always now, but
No. But thank you. Thank you.
yeah, so that's been Irina Sharma. Thank you so much. That's Raunak, Raghav.
Thank you,
And this has
Raunak.
been What's
Thank
the
you,
Vibe.
Raunak.
By the way, this was episode number 50.
Yeah.
So, woo! That's good.
55, 50, yes. Thank
Peace.
you.